Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. It is Monday, February the 3rd. It's pretty early. It's 25 degrees, so it's cold, but it's not as cold as it has been, but it is cold. But it is February. We're getting closer to spring, so I'm excited about that. It's been about a week and a half since I've gotten a video out. Whatever that bug was that was going around, unfortunately, I caught it, and I was down and out for a few days there. Feeling much better now. So this week I'll be going out, getting some of this trimmed and cleaned up and trying to get back to normal here. But that's where I was anyways. So as many of you know, we'd been talking and discussing, talking about trash, the tote system, where we're at with that. It's still a big topic with a lot of people and an important one to talk about. So as I promised, I was going to reach out to the mayor and we were going to schedule an interview. So this Thursday, I will be sitting down with Mayor Marchetti at City Hall, and we're going to talk about trash and where we're at and some updates on that. So I know the mayor has talked about this extensively on his own show. At the city council meeting, our Commissioner of Public Utilities did a presentation on it. But I wanted to have a chance to sit down, talk to the mayor, and I know a lot of you have sent me a lot of questions. So this is a chance to be able to address that and talk directly with the mayor and ask your questions, ask the questions I want, but be able to ask questions for a lot of you and get answers. So if you do have questions, message them to me, comment, make them respectable, because again, the mayor is nice enough he was nice enough to schedule that with me and welcome me to City Hall. And I haven't been able to sit in City Hall and interview since Dan Bianchi was mayor. So I'm excited to be able to go back in there and sit down with the mayor. I haven't been in the mayor's office in that long. So thank you to Mayor Marchetti for that. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I will be putting that out on Friday. And before I wrap this up, because this is going to be a short one, I want to discuss something. So many of you might remember back in, I believe it was August or September of last year, I put a post up that I had went out early in the morning on my property on Richmond Shores at about, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was taking my dogs out and interrupted somebody breaking into one of the vehicles on my property. And he got away. That individual had an e-bike. He took off. But I have a pretty elaborate security system with a lot of motion tracking cameras, the whole deal and I was able to get a very good image of that individual. I posted it on It's Pittsfield Tonight. And it didn't take very long at all. Within 24 to 48 hours, a lot of messages came in from all of you. It turned out that it wasn't just because he hit quite a few vehicles at Richmond Shores. Well, he hit quite a few vehicles throughout the county. This was happening all over Berkshire County. And many of you said, hey, that looks like an individual that got my vehicle, whether it had been in Adams or Cheshire or Lenox or Pittsfield, Richmond. He got a lot of people. Well, to make a long story not so long, I was contacted last week and basically they caught him. He's in custody. So they concluded their investigation. He's in custody, he's being charged, and that's that. So we'll see where that goes from there. But a huge thank you to all of you, to our Massachusetts State Police that worked that case, to the police officers in the communities that were affected by this, that worked that case. And it was a big collaboration with a lot of different law enforcement. And they were able to apprehend him. They did their homework, they did their investigation, they followed it through, and I was very, very pleased to hear that they apprehended that individual and they will be charged. So huge thank you to all of you. I was so thrilled to see that because It's another accomplishment. I feel like this is, it shows that a lot of people will bash social media. Some people, it's an ailing platform, but thank God I'm here to save it. I've seen posts like that from people, but I think Facebook and all social media is a great platform. When used correctly, it's an awesome way to communicate, to work together, to express your opinion, to get your voice out there. And that is a perfect example of how social media can do good things. It's all about people. The platform isn't the problem. When you have problems, it's usually people. But anyway, I was really, really pleased to hear that. So again, thank you to all of you. So again, this Thursday, I will be interviewing the mayor at City Hall, and we're going to specifically stay on the garbage topic. I know there's a lot of other things to talk about, especially at PHS, within the schools, all that. But we're going to save that until that investigation is concluded. Otherwise, it's just gossip and rumors, and we don't want to do that. So let the investigation conclude, and then it's time to discuss those issues. But right now, I think garbage is still a big deal because we are seeing some problems with the tote system. And I'm seeing it through messages from a lot of you, not a few, a lot. So I would say 40 to 50% of you say it's great that the 48-gallon works perfect for them. And then some of you are saying it's way too small. I can't afford another 160. And then some of you saying, I ordered another trash container and it isn't here yet. I have too much trash. It's building up. We have seen some issues with dumping. And another thing that has really stood out to me is to have a tote system be effective, the idea is the lid closes. You have to have that lid closed all the way. So when the automated arm comes out, the driver dumps it, sets it back down, and it's not an issue. When you pile bags on top of that, like people have to, those bags fall and the driver has to get out. He dumps it, has to get out, put the other bags back in, dump it again. Well, that's not fully automated. That kind of defeats the whole purpose. And we've also seen our older traditional garbage trucks out on the routes. I've seen that a lot, like where they're doubling up on routes, trying to pick up the slack here. So I know the mayor has discussed this on his own show. I know Ricardo Morales, our Commissioner of Public Utilities, gave a presentation to the city council. But there is some issues. And one of the questions I want to ask the mayor is what we have been talking about, because we were told in the beginning that the city could only pick one size container, that these trucks could only be calibrated to pick up one size container. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe it's a more affordable model or something. I don't know. But any community I've spoke to, and I've done some research on this, as long as it's an automated approved tote, they have multiple containers that are available. So what we're seeing is when you see all those garbage bags piled on top, if that had been a 64 or 96-gallon tote, that lid would be shut. Because when you're piling the garbage on top, another problem we're seeing, especially in the winter, is squirrels and crows. They rip that apart and you got trash everywhere. And I've seen quite a bit of that, quite a bit of trash on the ground. And again, I've been contacted by a lot of people about business owners saying, we had to get extra cameras, chains and locks for our dumpsters because they're seeing a problem there. And then some people don't care if the dumpster's locked. They pile their trash around people's dumpsters. That's an issue. We've seen it in the parks. I've seen it in gas stations, and I've heard from some of the gas stations that their trash receptacles on the islands, they're coming in the morning and they're full to the top. That's an issue. So that I want to talk to the mayor about all that, where we're at, and based off of what Andy Canby said at one of the one of the previous city council meetings, they're going to start fining people also for not doing this the correct way. So I want to talk about that also. Again, because I've heard from quite a few people that wanted an extra tote. They're waiting on it. It's not there yet, and they're having an issue with trash building up. So there is a lot to discuss. I'm a huge proponent of the tote system, but I'm on the fence with that. I still think the 48 gallon for a lot of people is too small. It's way too small, and I didn't understand that. And then you take like the winter when you're dealing with wind and all that. Those 48 gallons, even with trash in them, they're top heavy. They tip over very easily. Once that tips over, and I've seen this a lot, the driver has to get out there, pull the tote up, then get the automated arm, then dump it. And again, once you're doing that, that's not fully automated. It kind of defeats the whole purpose. So anywhere I've ever lived before where they've used a tote system, they require you to make sure that lid is closed, and you don't want to pack that down in there because the driver's going to pick that up, boom, boom, bang it on the side of the truck once or twice and put it back down. And if you squish that down in there, your trash container's still going to be half full. Same with recycling. When you're doing your recycling, you got to break that down. If you wedge that stuff in there, it's not going to come out. And I've had a lot of people say, hey, man, they emptied my stuff and half of it's still full. So I've heard those. And I think there's a learning curve here with the drivers because we've seen several parts of routes that have been missed. I know since then, Casella has put additional trucks out on the routes. And again, some of them have been the traditional garbage trucks where they're just getting out and picking it up and throwing it in. And that kind of, it's still a little confusing. So there's a lot that has to be hammered out with that. But send your questions, make sure they're respectable, and I will ask as much as I can to the mayor. So I'm excited about that. And a big thank you to Mayor Marchetti, again, for inviting me or allowing me to come to City Hall and sit down and talk with him, because I haven't been there in so long. I haven't been able to interview at City Hall since Mayor Bianchi. So kind of exciting to be able to go back into the mayor's office again. So very thankful to Mayor Marchetti for allowing me his time to do that. So that's it for now. Stay active, stay informed, be nice to each other. There's so much tension and crap out there right now. Don't let it get to you. Don't start fighting with each other. If you need to communicate something to somebody, you don't do it by telling them they're dumb or they're wrong or they're this. That's not going to get your point across. We see a lot of that. And I'll give you an example. It's always usually on our local paper, we'll call it that, on their social sites. Because one problem I have with is clickbait on social sites. And you always hear the argument of, what is it supposed to, are their reporters supposed to work for free? They're not supposed to charge. And that nobody has ever said that. I've never heard anybody ever say that. What they're saying is if it's on social media, which is a premium free platform, it shouldn't be clickbait. Because when something happens, right, and there's a story out, especially if it's something big locally, people click on it, and if they've already used up their 3 a month free views or whatever, which they don't know ahead of time, they don't know until they click on the article, and then they see the paywall, and they go, what the hell? And then there's always that handful of people going, oh, okay, so it's supposed to be free, and they're supposed to work for free? No. If it's on a premium free platform, it shouldn't be clickbait. Every article on social media should be free. When you're promoting it through advertisement, you let people know. If you enjoyed this article, try, for our subscribers, there's exclusive content. There's that, but let them know what they're clicking on. And I think that's where the frustration comes from, because the first thing you always see with that is the first comment will be, I can't read the article. Can somebody copy and paste it? And someone does right away. So and that's crazy to me. So that is something I want to talk about at another time, because now that, Facebook, since they've introduced their verification system and there's different tiers of that, you can even filter out anything that would be an ad or clickbait. And I just think the local publication doesn't quite grasp yet on how to use social media, because nobody is saying that their website should be free, that their paper should be free, that the reporters should work for free, or any of that. And I feel like the local publication is kind of an op-ed now anyways. I mean, that's what I am. I'm just an opinion page. It's a podcast. An opinion with interviews, business promos. That's a huge part of what we do here, which there's a lot of that coming up too that I'm excited about. Once the new studio is completely finished, there'll be a lot of that coming up. So, all right, I could go on forever. This was supposed to be short, and again, it never works out that way. So please be good to yourself. Be good to others. If you see something that it sets you off and you can't, resist the urge to go back and forth with somebody and just scroll by. Don't be the person that has to go make fun of people. Believe me, I've been on the end of that. I've seen that one that they made memes about me and all that nonsense. Just let it go. Don't give somebody your headspace. Don't let them in your head. It's not worth it. Just let it go. And eventually that stuff will fade away. Don't put gas on it, because it does nothing except stress people out, and it doesn't help anything. So, all right, that's it. So Friday, I will be putting the interview out with the mayor, and I'll be recording it on Thursday. So I'll see y'all then. So again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch y'all on Friday.